He's the all-time winningest coach for the Wildcats as they are looking for a three-peat in the SEC. It is Kentucky that will get things started. They will serve first, and it's Allie Stumler, the 6'1" sophomore out of Floyd Knobs, Indiana, to get things going for the Wildcats. The early double call on Kentucky and Tennessee will get it back. I want to point out for Tennessee, freshman Kaylee Keeble making her second straight start. Started against Mississippi State on Sunday. Tennessee now running a 6-2. Well, this is the 81st meeting of these two programs. It's been pretty one-sided as of late. Kentucky won 10 of the last 11 meetings over the Lady Vols, including the last 3. We talk about ball control at the beginning of this match, Jenny, and that's exactly what we just saw from Tennessee.
And the outstanding pass for Tennessee allowed setter Kaylee Keeble all hitting options available for her to set. Of course, she goes to Tessa Grubbs, her go-to attacker.
Tessa Grubbs with 4.05 kills per set for Tennessee. Switch to the outside, and again to Grubbs for the kill.
Another great set by Keeble to the outside. You mentioned the freshman starting in the match in the setting position, and one of the things that Eve Rackham said was that she liked the fact that the freshman setter had the more experienced attackers in with her. So Tessa Grubbs is opposite Keeble, so she's got her to set the entire time, and some other veteran attackers on the floor. When Sedona Hansen comes in, a little bit less experience in the front court, so the veteran setter is kind of running the offense in that situation.
Yeah, Sedona Hansen, the other setter for Tennessee, is a senior. Of course, Kaylee Keeble, #1 for Tennessee, the freshman in this 6-2 system. Now for Kentucky, Madison Lilly is their setter, the junior, who has been solid for the Wildcats since her freshman year.
Danielle Mahaffey gets the kill that time for Tennessee. She's lined up in the outside hitter position. In the 2 rotations, she's up with Tessa Grubbs. She will play on the right. Of course, she would swing on the outside and then switch to the right side. But in this 1 rotation, we just had freshman Morgan Fingal come in, and she's a lefty. She'll be in the opposite.
This is the first set in the best of 5 rally scoring. First 4 sets go to 25. If we need a 5th set, that will go to 15. You have to win by 2. Kentucky adds a point to pull it to within 1 in this first set. High ball, Tennessee's able to put a swing on it. Sedona behind her head to Danielle Mahaffey for the kill.
Mahaffey took a nice swing over there on the right. Now she's going to come out in the backcourt. But when she was in those 3 rotations, when she's in the front row, she was definitely a nice target for her setters.
Nice dig from Madison Coulter to keep things going for Tennessee. To the outside, and a big block from the Lady Vols.
Another reason for Tennessee to go to the 6-2 is the bigger block on the right side pin, and that's Morgan Fingal with the stuff. When you have an undersized setter, both of the setters for Tennessee are smaller. It can be tough to get some of those big blocks like that, so it's one of the reasons they're in this system.
Coach Eve Rackham pointed out, great natural blocker, Morgan Fingal, and that is what we saw.
And another block that time was middle blocker Addison Rowe getting her hands on the ball, but the block was set up nicely by Fingal.
Asha Phillips the senior from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, in to play defense and serve for Tennessee. Can't get that one. Kentucky gets a point.
Kentucky, as you mentioned, coming off of their first loss in SEC play since 2017, and that loss was to Kentucky. Craig Skinner mentioned that the girls were upset, that the players were definitely feeling the hurt from that loss, but he said that that's something that he wanted them to understand, that it does hurt to lose, and just to use that to find the things they need to do to get better, to focus throughout practice, to stay focused like they need to in matches.
Yeah, that was a 3-2 loss to Georgia. He said he challenged his team this week and basically said, hey, if you don't prepare the same for every single opponent, you can get surprised, especially nowadays in the SEC, where there's a little more parity.
And he talked about how strong of a team Georgia is, and they played great and definitely earned that win. So it wasn't anything that Georgia didn't, Georgia earned it for sure, but just telling his team, you're going to play a lot of teams that can win if you don't do your part.
Well, Gabby Curry gets a touch on that, but a little too tight to the net. Tennessee will get a point off of a kill for Lily Feltz. Madison Coulter, the junior libero for Tennessee, back to serve. Maryville, Tennessee. Hanson behind her, and Kentucky meets that swing with a big block.
And Allie Stumler did a fantastic job of sealing off the seam in this block. She reaches back in and takes that cross-court shot that Fingal was trying to hit.
Sedona to the outside, a big swing from Feltz.
Lily Feltz is 5'11", undersized for an outside at this level, but she can beat teams with speed. She's got a nice arm, hits with decent pace for her size and her frame. That was a fast set to the outside, perfect for Feltz.
Coach told us she struggled offensively early in the season, and they played Texas A&M. She came in on that third set and has basically hit 200 plus ever since. Just really found her stride for Tennessee. Kentucky with a free ball to work with on that slide. And there will be a net call on Tennessee.
Some nice play at the net on both sides. A few 50-50 balls that either team could have made the play on, but with that aggressiveness came a net violation by Tennessee.
Yeah, you saw it there on the right. Allie Stumler continues to serve for Kentucky. A tough serve there, and Leah Meyer will finish off an overpass.
Kentucky works a lot, as most teams do, on their serving. They spend quite a bit of time in their match day practices working on serving different areas, and we saw them working on that shorter serve, and I feel like Allie Stumler disguises it pretty well too. It's not always going to go short, and she looks like her serve is the same, deep and short.
Tough ball to handle. What a dig from Gabby Curry for Kentucky. They'll set the back row, and Stumler doing it all for Kentucky right now.
And the great thing is, as soon as Allie Stumler got that kill, she goes straight to Gabby Curry, because that was a fantastic layout dig on a hard-driven ball. The teammates getting fired up for the libero making great plays.
Kentucky on a 4-0 run. We're now tied at 10. Great hustle from the Wildcats. And how about Leah Edmonds says, don't send that over.
Not a surprise that we're going to see a timeout here by Eve Rackham, as Tennessee's played a little bit sloppy these last few points.
Well, Kentucky now with a 1-point lead in this first set. On Saturday, expect some whiteout conditions for this Big Ten matchup. Jim Harbaugh and number 16 Michigan will be in State College to take on number 7 Penn State under the lights. That's 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on ABC and the ESPN app. That is our Saturday night football game presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. We'll see if that Lady Vols timeout worked to break the momentum. Kentucky adds another point, this time off the right side.
The defensive touches on the Kentucky side is putting setter Madison Lilly in perfect position to run all of her attackers, and it's tough for any team to defend against that.
Allie Stumler now on a 6-0 run for Kentucky. Lilly to the outside. And the Edmond attack followed by a Meyer attack. Leah can't stop them.
And any of those plays right up at the net, Kentucky has been winning that a lot more often than Tennessee so far in this first set.
Leah Edmond, 5 kills, hitting .556. Leah Meyer for Kentucky, 2 kills, hitting .500. Nice up from Gabby Curry. Madison Lilly to the back row again, and that seems to be working for Kentucky. Allie Stumler.
And Allie Stumler's attacking numbers on the season are incredible, especially for the fact that she hits out of the backcourt. That's one of the things that Craig Skinner talked about, that she brings so much to their offense that she has the ability to hit in the front and the back row.
On top of that, he can count on her from a passing standpoint. He said she passed 2.4, almost perfect in their Georgia game. If you're not familiar with how coaches kind of score passing, basically a perfect pass
is a 3. Meaning the setter has 3 hitting options in the front row. And a 2.4 is typically what a lot of programs want their libero to be at.
Right.
And so the fact that the outside for Kentucky is passing at that level, and of course Gabby Curry passes at an elite level as well, it just is why Kentucky is so tough.
And again, another timeout for Tennessee. They are on, Kentucky's on a 9-0 run right now, and Eve Rackham trying to do anything she can to slow things down. Leah Edmond has just been so impressive, really her career for Kentucky. 6'2" senior. She is just 16 kills away coming into this match from the record for most career kills all time at Kentucky. Already holds the rally scoring error record for career kills. So she is looking to take that all-time record. And you know, we talked a little bit to Coach Skinner about her and what makes her special. And basically he said she's gifted and really embraces her role and focused on her back row attacking coming into her final year. Hitting .284 for her career. She's played a lot of games for Kentucky. We'll see if Tennessee can break this 9-0 run, and they finally do.
Kaylee Keeble, the freshman setter, decides to make the long distance set all the way across the court. And Lily Phelps does a great job of coming in and getting inside the blocker's hands.
Tip doesn't fall. They'll go again to the back row, and that will be blocked out. Kentucky gets back.
Allie Stumler again out of the back court, swinging high enough that when it went off of the blocker's hands, it still had enough distance to go, wasn't going straight down on her side. And just having Allie Stumler able to do that in a rally that goes a little bit longer, when Leah Edmonds in the front row, so blockers have to worry about her. That's why Kentucky is so tough to play.
The freshman goes to the middle. Tennessee points.
Danielle Mahaffey has played all along the net as well in her career. She's been a middle or right side. She's played on the left. Coach said she trained a lot last year passing as well, so she could get better in that area of her game. So in that rotation, they ran Alyssa Andrino behind and ran a quicker, not a fully middle quick attack, but quick enough that Kentucky couldn't get a double block up. But then Kentucky responds with a kill from, guess who, Leah Edmond.
Her 6th on the night. Madison Lilly back to serve for Kentucky.
A net violation by Leah Edmond. That ball came between the blockers and the net, and Edmond tried to play it up out of the net, but was just in the bottom of the tape.
See Tessa Grubbs, the senior outside hitter, comes out for Tennessee, and this is what we were talking about, kind of a modified 6-2 for them, as Sedona Hansen, the senior setter, comes in.
Tennessee still has 6 attackers, 2 setters. They just moved some players around in the front row based on where their strengths are. The opposite that's in right now is a lefty, so they definitely keep her on the right as much as they can.
Nice back set, big swing from Danielle Mahaffey. Turns line.
Mahaffey has done a great job with the sets she's been given. She had line. Of course, you've got one of the best libros in the country defending the line, and she's still able to power it past her.
Tennessee pulls it to within 4 in this first set. Timing off just a little bit for Kentucky. Tennessee can make it count, and they can with Lily Feltz on the outside.
Attackers don't always have to bounce a ball straight down. Lily Feltz finds the end line in between the 2 backcourt defenders and middle back and left back. And that's a ball that even some of the best defenders can't have the range to get all the way over there.
Yeah, I can speak from experience as a defender. You tend to creep up a little bit. It's hard to stay deep sometimes. Speaking of Gabby Curry, one of the best, reigning SEC Libero of the Year, recorded her 1,000th career dig in their Georgia match. Finished 22 digs in that 5-setter. So Morgan Fingal.
Great job that time by Fingal to hit a little more in the seam. The last time Fingal was blocked by Allie Stumler, she took more of the cross court. And it looked like that set was just a touch wide for a lefty, but Fingal was able to drift out there a little bit and get a good swing.
Service ace for Madison Coulter. Tennessee now within 2 in this first set.
Craig Skinner is calling a timeout. You've got to. There's no sense in wasting, not using your timeout. So he's going to try to slow this little bit of Tennessee momentum down. They have to face Ole Miss and Georgia, the 2 hottest, if you will, teams in the SEC right now. Definitely no easy weekend in the SEC.
That is true. Nice block from Tennessee, finds the back of the court.
And Tennessee has seemed to settle down a little bit as this set has gone on, and a little more patient with some of those good block touches that they're getting, and they're still staying patient in there and getting another good block touch instead of allowing Kentucky to get another easy kill.
And Tennessee on a 5-1 run. Now a 6-1 run in this first set.
And a couple of aces in this run for Madison Coulter, the libero for Tennessee. Oh, excuse me, yeah, Madison Coulter.
We talked at the beginning of this match, ball control is key. That is where Kentucky has struggled on this Tennessee 6-1 run. And again, an out-of-system set for Madison Lilly after a bad pass. See who can make the most of that. The nice up from Asha Phillips for Tennessee. A good touch on it, but not able to get any help. Kentucky breaks that run.
And an out-of-system swing on the right side that time for Caitlin Cooper. And Phillips just tried to play it with her hands instead of maybe with her platform as that ball was dropping. It's tough to handle that.
Lily to Meyer. Point Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky's making a lot of positive block touches too. So they're giving their defense a chance behind their block by just getting a good handle on it where defenders behind them can make a nice play up and then transition for points like we saw just there.
Leah Meyer's 4th kill on the night. 4 kills on 5 attempts for Meyer. Service error for Kentucky. That's something that plagued them in that Georgia match. Some key missed serves at some key times.
And coach felt like they were key missed serves that they don't typically make.
Right. Ooh, nice up from Madison Coulter, just not enough. I mean, that was a heavy swing from Kentucky.
Middle blocker Leah Meyer is really solid on one foot behind the setter. She can see what the blockers are leaving her, so that time she was able to swing line. If the blockers are trying to take that, she's able to cut it back across her body and go cross court. It's what makes her such an effective attacker.
Allie Stumler back to serve for Kentucky. Last time they were in this rotation, it was a 9-0 run for the Wildcats.
A double contact that time called on Kaylee Keeble.
To the middle, and in comes Lily Phelps.
Lily Phelps will swing on the right side in that one rotation, but out of serve receive because Andrino has the ability to run slides behind the setter. Phelps is running that quicker 2-ball, so a 2-ball is a higher set in the middle, but they run it pretty fast.
Leah Edmond, her 7th kill of the night.
Having a big attacker like Leah Edmond is so important in some of the scramble situations. And that was just a ball that, again, whether they're in system or out of system, Leah Edmond can score. So it's tough to defend because they can't always just assume that every out of system ball is going to her or in system ball because so many attackers are able to score.
It's set points for the Wildcats. Tennessee tries to avoid it. That ball hits the antenna. Tennessee will get the side out and point.
Nice job by Tessa Grubbs taking that swing off of the hands of the blockers to fend off set point.
Eve Rackham substituting a freshman defensive specialist, Madison Wardell, in to serve for them. Out of system, and Tessa Grubbs cleans it up.
And Lily Phelps communicating with her setter that she'll take the defensive ball so she can go set up players like Tessa Grubbs. And you know, I like seeing that communication when you have a young setter on the court trying to help her learn as they're playing.
This team got to have some time together, made a trip to Brazil. The whole team, the support staff, 10 days, 5 matches, everybody made the trip to Brazil. And Madison Lilly said the chemistry on this team is the best it's ever been. Set point for Kentucky, and they will get it.
And Leah Edmond, your go-to player She gets her 8th kill of this match on that swing.
Well, Kentucky takes set 1 over Tennessee. We're back with set 2 in Knoxville after this. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN, and welcome back to Knoxville, Tennessee and Thompson Bowling Arena, where Kentucky takes the first set 25-23. I'm Dawn Davenport alongside Jenny Hazelwood. Jenny, if you look at that match, Kentucky scored 25 points, obviously, but in those 25 points, 20 kills for Kentucky. What does that mean?
That means Kentucky is earning their points. They're not relying on Tennessee to make mistakes. They are fighting, both sides are fighting on each point, but Kentucky is earning points. That's tough to play against.
We mentioned how important ball control was, serving and passing. It is that.
A mistiming between Madison Lilly and Leah Edmond that you don't see too often, and Leah Edmond could only try to tip that over, but just couldn't clear the block.
Lilly pushes it outside to Stumler. Stumler finds some arms and gets a kill.
Great high swing by Allie Stumler off the hands of the blockers. That's a skill, being able to go up and take a big swing. She was about 7 feet off the net, so not really in the best position, so she made the smartest swing she could.
This is the second set in the best of 5. We played at 25. You have to win by 2.
Allie Stumler has such a tough serve. She will serve a ball that drifts pretty deep and floats, but she'll also serve a ball that the bottom falls out and it lands pretty short, and it can be tough to pick up on that pretty early, so the passers have a hard time.
Back set. Kill.
Tennessee has had a lot of success with all of the attackers swinging behind the setters, whether it be Lily Phelps in this instance. We've seen Tessa Grubbs get kills over there. We've seen Mahaffey get kills over there, Fingal. So they're really doing nicely on that swing.
Madison Lilly with a kill of her own sends that one over on 2.
Madison Lilly has the ability to be a very active setter. She doesn't always do it, so she's not overly aggressive, but she does it in the right situations.
Well, again, Kaylee Keeble, the freshman setter for Tennessee, going behind her head. Not able to make that one work. Another point for Kentucky.
That set looked just a little bit low. Andrino trying to make something happen instead of just keeping it in play.
Tennessee coach Eve Rackham talking about her freshman setter number 1, Kaylee Keeble. Said she's a warrior. She's so composed as a freshman. She said maybe internally she's a little nervous, but you would never know. She never shows it. And she's really handled stepping in. Great for them. Made her second start today. Lily to Edmond. Nice combo.
I like the change of pace, bringing Edmond in the court a little bit more. It forces the opposing block to recognize where she's going to be on the court, and they stay inside, but Edmond just able to get on top of that ball and put it down in front of the cross-court defender.
Keeble again to the backside. Tessa Grubbs hits the antenna on that one. Another point for Kentucky. Madison Lilly, 11.15 assists per set for Kentucky. Gets this ball in play.
And that time just a high swing off of the block for Danielle Mahaffey. And Leah Edmond just hesitated. I think she might have believed Gabby Curry was coming in behind her, but instead it's a point for Tennessee.
That happens sometimes when Gabby Curry is your libero, right? Because she usually gets everything.
She has great range.
A good eye from Leah Edmond, a service error for Tennessee, and a point for Kentucky. Edmond now back to serve, the senior from Lexington, Kentucky. Stumler needs the block, the nice coverage from Curry. Tennessee. That ball just wide for the Lady Vols.
Tennessee trying to run a faster paced offense, but in transition that time the attacker wasn't fully up to be able to have a good rhythm on that faster attack, so she just missed it wide.
Sedona Hansen, the senior 5'8" setter from Wrightwood, California, in for Tennessee. They're now running that 6-2 offense. Coach told us she's our rock. You know what you get with her always. Not the most vocal leader, but certainly a lead by example kind of player for Tennessee.
I love the fact that Sedona Hansen does put her team first, too. So not only have they gone to a 6-2 and they had been running a 5-1 because it's what was best for the team and what they needed, but she's also now not the starting setter because Coach felt like she needed to, as the veteran setter, be with some of the more inexperienced attackers, and she's saying whatever I've got to do to help this team, and that's what a great player and a great leader does.
Nice dig from Madison Coulter. Tennessee get that back.
Madison Coulter is a fun player to watch. If you ever see Tennessee in person, keep your eyes on Coulter in the back row. She is a fireball, and she really makes some phenomenal plays, but she is just fun all the time.
Coach said she took her training in that position to a completely different level in the offseason, and she was good prior to that.
Kentucky getting another perfect pass. And, you know, Kendall Paris is a player that her name isn't said as often as other players, but she's doing a great job this season.
Yeah, Coach said mentally has really been dialed in lately. Kentucky dialed in and said too. We will have the National Women's Soccer League semifinals for you Sunday on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. Defending champs North Carolina Courage hosts Megan Rapinoe and Reign FC. That's 1:30 Eastern. And then Sam Kerr leads the Chicago Red Stars against Steuben Heath and the Portland Thorns. Spot in the championship match next Sunday on ESPN2 is on the line. Well, another SEC win is on the line here tonight in Thompson Bowling Arena. Morgan Fingal is going to give Tennessee a point in a big way.
And on the heels of some great defensive efforts on the side of the Tennessee Volunteers, but check out the big swing by the freshman. And in a situation where the blockers pretty much knew where the ball was going because Tennessee had other attackers on the ground, so they knew she was going to be there, and she still got a big kill around the block.
Coach mentioned she is aggressive offensively, wants to hit high and hard. Certainly saw that for Morgan Fingal.
Allie Stumler getting the nice deep kill shot. We mentioned we saw Lily Phelps do that earlier. Instead of just bouncing balls like we have seen a number of times tonight, sometimes going deeper is just as, if not more, effective.
Again to the right side. Kentucky digs Fingal. Phelps finds a kill.
Heads up play by Lily Phelps to go over into. She was going to be in a tougher position to fully transition if the setter came in and set the ball, so she just says, I'll take it, gets the kill.
Whatever works. That was her 7th kill on the night. She's hitting .438 for Tennessee tonight.
And Tennessee will make blocking switches based on matchups that they want. So in this rotation now, Phelps is on the left with Grubbs on the right. Earlier, Phelps had been on the right and Grubbs on the left.
Ooh, and that's a swing on the left from Grubbs. That comes at you fast. Look at Madison Lilly. She knew there's not much she could do to handle that.
Tessa Grubbs just taking that sharp cross-court angle.
Tessa Grubbs' ball goes out. Another point for Kentucky. Wildcats lead it 12-8 in the second set. They took set 1, 25-23. It is best of 5 here in Knoxville.
Just some missed touches, if you will. The first contact was a little tight. So freshman Cedric Keeble undersets it, one-handed undersets it, and then just a few misplays on the Tennessee side. That's where you see some inexperience in plays like that.
Another tight pass. Keeble had to go up and get that in a tight set for Tessa Grubbs.
And if you get a good, well-formed block in the face of attackers, it can just be really hard. You can see Tessa Grubbs was on her way down when she hit that ball. So she really didn't have a lot of space up high to hit around the block because she was so low by the time she made contact.
The Lady Vols get it back thanks to a service error for Kentucky. Lily Phelps, the sophomore, puts it in play.
And a net violation by Alyssa Andrino. And that's a ball that Allie Stumler missed on the back row attack pretty bad. It was well out of bounds. So those are the kind of mental mistakes that teams just can't afford to have if they're going to beat the top teams in the country.
Back-to-back service errors for Kentucky. Tennessee will get it back. Eve Rackham subbing out Alyssa Andrino. Madison Wardell in to serve for the Lady Vols. To the outside, and Leah Edmond, another kill.
And that's the 10th kill for Leah Edmond as she is looking to break the all-time kills record for the University of Kentucky in this match. Just a fantastic swing, a medium pass, and a perfect set by Madison Lilly. And I think it's important to note, too, we talk about all-time kills record, because in the side-out scoring era, points were only scored when your team served. So hitters had the ability to get a lot of kills in a match because you could go point after point after point, or excuse me, rally after rally, and no point being scored. So the fact that she's about to break,
could last like 5 hours.
Yes, yes. So the fact that she's going to break the all-time kills record, including during the side-out scoring era, that is remarkable.
A miss hit in Tennessee. We'll get it back.
Caitlin Cooper swinging on the left on that, just not a great swing, and so she made the error into the net.
Nice Coulter on that Leah Edmond swing. Lily goes to the middle. Kendall Paris with a nice swing, and Tennessee's in the net.
Even with the defensive pickup, the net violation by Addison Rowe will give Kendall Paris the kill. And we talked about her earlier. She's really come along lately, doing a great job attacking for Kentucky.
Yeah, Kendall Paris, number 6, the middle blocker for Kentucky. 10 kills, just 1 error against Georgia. Hit .643 in their loss to Georgia in that match. I asked Coach about her. He said, you know, what you're seeing on the court isn't just because. It's because of how she's prepared, how she's been dialed in during practice, how she's just really physically taken it to another level.
He said she comes in and works hard every single day. And as coaches, you tell your players that that's what it takes. And when you see someone really take that to heart and it pay off in their game, that's one of your favorite things to see.
Well, Tennessee's Sonoma Hansen, the senior, sends that one over on two to get it back for Tennessee. Asha Phillips, senior defensive specialist from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Siegel High School, in to serve for the Lady Vols. Nice pickup from Gabby Curry. A free ball from Kentucky. What does Tennessee do with it? Right into a big Kendall Paris and Allie Stumler block.
And that set decision by Hansen made it easier on the Kentucky blockers because they didn't have very far to go. The ball was pulled over to that right side, so the blockers were right there anyways. Made it a little bit easier. That's in that situation, maybe the long set gets a little more space for an attacker.
And that one pushed out, and there's the long set.
Yep, the longer distance to travel, and when you've got strong attackers on both pins, the setter can really make it tough on a middle if they're just not predictable and setting the short set every time, especially if the blocker steps over in the direction of the pass.
Madison Lilly, the setter, with the dig for Kentucky. So the roll shot to Tennessee, and Tennessee's ball just long from Morgan Fingal, but they will call a touch on it.
A high swing by Morgan Fingal. She just gets it off of the hands of the Kentucky blockers.
Caitlin Cooper with a kill.
Cooper has been a little more quiet for Kentucky in this match. Not always in the best rhythm, but that time, that was one of the better swings she has taken in this match. She gets a good kill.
Caitlin Cooper for Kentucky suffered a stress fracture in the spring in her shin, so really started coming around probably about a month ago, Coach said. Takes a while to get back 100%. Leah Meyer at 100%, that's for sure, especially on that coming behind the setter shot.
She's really good off of 1 foot behind the setter, and she's a transfer player coming in from Duke. She was all ACC while she was at Duke, so just a player with phenomenal experience coming in and bringing a great amount of knowledge and power, attacking, great blocking, just a lot in the addition to the Kentucky lineup.
Yeah, Coach said, you know, she was in the transfer portal. Coach called, visited, and it just felt like a perfect fit. Of course, she is a brilliant student. You know, as a Duke transfer, not surprised by that, but has really meshed with this team well right off the bat. Meyer with the tip, nice pickup from Madison Coulter. Kentucky will get a free ball. Allie Stumler, a heavy swing, and a nice dig from Asha Phillips. Lilly to Edmond in the back row, kill.
And a great up a number of times in that rally for Lauren Tharp, just keeping Kentucky where they have all of the options. Tennessee trying to get 3 blockers in the area where Leah Edmond is attacking out of the back row, but still Edmond comes out on top.
Solid defense from both teams, and a big block. Is that Madison Lilly on the right side?
Setter Madison Lilly comes up with the big stuff block, giving Kentucky set point.
5'11" junior, Madison Lilly. Service error for Kentucky. Tennessee stretches this set out. Second set point for the Wildcats as Lily Feltz goes back to serve for the Lady Vols. Well, that ball is long. Back-to-back service errors in this one.
Maybe not the cleanest.
Good number for a senior who has played a lot of games.
And a lot of 6 rotations, and a lot of times a 6 rotation outside hitter, if they're hitting in the lower 200s, that's really good. So the fact that she's in the upper 200s is outstanding.
She was hitting 391 coming into this third set.
I think she heard us talking about her.
It always happens that way.
She just, you know, she was trying to make sure we brought it back down. You know, she's human. She'll make errors.
Just sends it long. I think that was only her first, maybe second hitting error this match, by the way.
The nice thing for Kentucky, though, is that they have other players that can get kills, as you saw the kill by Leah Meyer. And they're really spread out with their offense. Both of their outsides score at a very high rate, as Allie Stumler is getting close to double-digit kills as well. Their middles can score. Really, even Madison Lilly gets in on the action.
Nice swing from Morgan Fingal for Tennessee. Don't forget, coming up right after our match from Lincoln, number 20 Purdue visits 5th-ranked Nebraska. That's going to be a good ranked matchup at this point in the season. Can't wait to watch that right after this matchup. That's 9 o'clock Eastern time right here on ESPNU.
The Nebraska fans always come out in full force. Such a great venue for college volleyball. Definitely a fun time to watch, no matter who Nebraska is playing, let alone a top 25 matchup. It's bound to be rocking tonight.
Some big-time defense from both teams, especially the Lady Vols, and Madison Lilly puts an end to that with sending that ball over on the second hit.
And that can be something that teams just can't always load up on and be in position to get that ball and then be able to transition all the way out to their defensive positions if somebody else gets set the ball. So that's why it can be effective if it's used just in spurts.
Lily Feltz breaking out the hands, sending that ball outside, and Leah Edmond gets the touch down the line.
And Leah Edmond on the quicker transition and just takes a deep line swing. She knew the blockers were taking more of the cross court away from her, but she had plenty of line. Smart shot.
Perfect example of what head coach Craig Skinner told us about her versatility. How she's a fearless attacker, and anything you take away from her, she can just hit whatever you've left. Tied at 3 in this third set. Kentucky took the first 2 sets. We played best of 5 to 25. Rally scoring, have to win by 2. Of course, the Wildcats looking for a little bit of a bounce back after they suffered their first SEC loss since 2017 to Georgia on Friday night, 3-2. You wondered if this Kentucky team would come out a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, ready to go tonight.
And that much more focused. It's tough to win on the road, and everybody in collegiate volleyball knows that. So I have to imagine Kentucky was even more dialed in and even more focused because they knew Tennessee would put up a battle. They weren't going to make it easy on Kentucky, and nobody ever does. Kentucky's getting teams' best matches, and so they knew they'd have a battle on their hands. But if they could come out and control the first touch, which they've done a pretty strong job of that for the majority of the time tonight, they've been pretty in system, and then they've done really well out of system, which was another game plan thing for Kentucky. They said they wanted to be strong out of system, control the out of system portion of their game. They've done that, and I think that's why that they've pretty well controlled this match.
Tennessee trying to find some momentum in this third set. Kaylee Keeble to Feltz on the back row.
A great set decision that time by Keeble to go to Lily Feltz. She puts up a perfect back row set. the left side blocker, Ali Stumler, had to worry about the attacker going behind, so she was loaded up on that, so she couldn't get back in and help on the back row attack.
Tennessee head coach Eve Rackham told us about her freshman setter, Kaylee Keeble. Her decision-making pretty high. She does that pretty well. Of course, Tennessee running a 6-2 now. Sedona Hansen into set for Tennessee. She'll pick up that tip, keep this rally alive, and Addison Rowe gets some fingers on that one.
Well, they were asking for it, and nobody indicated a touch, so Eve Rackham is going to challenge. And when it happened initially, I thought she was able to hit it off of the blocker's hands as well, but we'll get to see a slower replay of that exact swing.
So here's a look at how the challenge system works. If you're not familiar with it, coaches get 3 per match. If it does go 5, you'll get 1 more. Whether you're right or wrong, you don't get it back. Ball in or out, contact with a player is one of the things that you can challenge. Obviously, that contacting a player is what Eve Rackham is challenging right now for Tennessee. The call was no touch, that it was out. The Lady Vols wanting that to be reversed,
and that
called a touch.
I don't believe it's on that swing. I think it's the last swing by Addison Rowe.
We'll see if we can't pull up another look at that. Sharon Brown, our review official tonight.
This is the one. And we are going to get that call reversed.
Yeah. And look, you can see it right there. You see fingers bounce back and kind of change the direction.
And that's exactly what the challenge review system is for. Because as easy as it is for us at times to say, hey, that was a no-brainer. They're human. Sometimes they miss things. So exactly why the challenge review is put in place.
So there you go. That is overturned, and Tennessee gets the point. See if they can build some momentum off of this. The tip goes down, and Kentucky with a point, thanks to Caitlin Cooper.
Great short tip by Caitlin Cooper. Just drops it in the area really close to the blockers. That probably could have even gotten a hand on it. Out of the screen there was the off blocker, Fingal, trying to play it, but it was just well placed.
A perfect pass for Tennessee. They're able to run their middle. A nice dig from Kentucky. Back to Tennessee, and Danielle Mahaffey for the kill.
In a one-on-one, Mahaffey takes a big rip, making it tough for any defender to try to get a hand on. She bounced that ball in front of the Kentucky defense.
Saw that good pass. Leah Meyer not able to get there to help on the block. That's what Tennessee can do, and there's no slowing down that swing on the outside from Stumler.
Ali Stumler with double-digit kills in this match, and the block for Tennessee was drifting out, so not all the way set up by the time she was taking her swing. So great kill by Ali Stumler.
Stumler came in 3.02 kills per set. She has 10 kills so far tonight.
And we've talked about Leah Edmond and Ali Stumler and the amount of kills they're getting, but third for Kentucky is Leah Meyer. She has been crushing the ball.
Very consistent hitter for head coach Craig Skinner, too. Leah Meyer hitting .401 on the season for them. And that's a big swing from Addison Rowe, the junior, gets a kill.
A perfect pass for Tennessee. And Addison Rowe in a one-on-one against just a single blocker puts that one away.
Haven't seen a lot from that middle position for the Lady Vols tonight. That one certainly worked. Talk about a heavy swing. Oh, Leah Edmond.
And Asha Phillips was in position to dig that ball, but Leah Edmond just hit it with so much pace that Phillips couldn't control it. And it's hard to fully realize how fast that ball gets on the defender.
Sedona Hansen again to the middle.
And Ava Bell, who's in for Alyssa Andrino, gets the kill for Tennessee.
Yeah, the 6'2" middle blocker sophomore, transfer from North Carolina. Head coach Eve Rackham recruited her back in high school when she was at North Carolina, played with her, or played for her. Nice court vision from Kentucky.
Madison Lilly has gone over on 2, but every other time has put it in the middle of the court. This time she pushes the ball over to the right front of the Tennessee defense. So again, just mixing it up like that, fantastic.
Ooh, that's a big swing from Tessa Grubbs. And that will hit inside the court.
Ava Bell almost touched the ball as it went past her, but thankfully she didn't, and Tessa Grubbs gets a big swing.
Tessa Grubbs has really been the go-to point scorer for the Lady Vols. Came in with 255 kills. Led the team with 630 attempts. Next most attempts is 356 from Danielle Mahaffey.
So they called the ball out of bounds, but a player is allowed to touch the net outside of the antenna. So that's the discussion that's being had right now.
So when the hitter hit the ball,
Madison Lilly having that discussion with Rodolfo Marrero.
You can see,
like on the other side of the net or outside the antenna?
Outside the antenna on this side.
So I can't play a ball outside of
Madison
the antenna
Lilly
on
on
my
that
side of the net?
replay goes up and plays the ball one-handed, is on her side of the net, so that's what they're arguing.
That's why I'm behind the antenna.
So you can see, so again, Madison Lilly is in the net, but outside of the antenna, which is allowed. So that's why Craig Skinner and Madison Lilly are saying, why are you calling that ball out of bounds? The ball didn't hit anything, but whatever discussion they're having, because I don't know the answer to it, maybe that's somewhere in the rule book when they got rid of the pursuit rule, so you can't cross the center line to play a ball back onto your side. Maybe there's some language in there that talks about touching the net in a similar situation.
Well, there's a net call right there.
And Ajani Teeler has checked in for Kentucky, freshman from Grand Prairie, Texas. She promptly gets a kill. It was a net violation, but she will get statted for a kill on that. And a double contact called. And we're going to see a timeout for Eve Rackham. She wants to settle her team down a bit.
Well, Kentucky leads 2-0. They're leading this third set 12-11. Back with more after this. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. It is 12-12, and this is our 12th tie in this set.
And those are the kind of mental errors I think Eve Rackham would like to see less of from her team.
Ironically, we just watched her during that last timeout, and she was emphatically pointing to her head, as in, let's make smart decisions. Play smart volleyball. That's a smart play from the Lady Vols to get a point.
A nice set by Kaylee Keeble. It wasn't a perfect pass right at the net. It was about 5 feet off, but still finding her middle Addison Rowe. And making decisions like that will help open up some splits in the block for the pin attackers.
To the freshman. And Ajani Teeler gets her kill tonight.
Well, and it looked like one of the players on the Kentucky side touched it before it went out of bounds, so it'll end up being a block for Tennessee. But Johnny Taylor has a really high ceiling. She's a very phenomenal athlete. She can get up high. She hits the ball really hard. She tries to take a big rip.
Oh yeah, Gabby Curry got a piece of that. Johnny Taylor also with a really high vertical. She can sky. Free ball from Kentucky. Straight to Tennessee's setter, Madison Lilly. To Leah Meyer. And that ball out of bounds, no touch.
An interesting unforced error that time by Meyer. Again, Kentucky not really in rhythm in these last few plays. It's going to force Craig Skinner to call a timeout.
Well, this is the largest lead by either team in this third set. Tennessee by 2. Don't forget a big matchup coming up right after our matchup. Number 20, Purdue, visiting 5th-ranked Nebraska. That's coming up next right here on ESPNU. Paul Sunderland and Karch Kirai on the call for that one. That should be a good one. Let's take a look at our top 10 nationally. We talked a lot about Baylor, of course, still unbeaten. But, Jenny, one of the hottest teams in that 7 spot. How about, or I guess 6 spot, Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin is coming off of wins against Penn State, went to Nebraska and swept, then beat Minnesota at home. So a lot of huge wins under their belts as of late.
Look at some of the volleyball news and notes across the country. Already mentioned Baylor. Washington rallies from a 2-set deficit to defeat Oregon at home. And then, of course, you mentioned Wisconsin with a big win over Minnesota.
And Baylor will be playing Texas in the near future on a Wednesday. That will be a premier matchup that people will want to watch. Texas has been the long reigning champion in the Big 12. So I think a lot of volleyball fans are excited to see that one go down.
Back here in Thompson-Boling Arena, Tennessee, with a 2-point lead in this third set. Kentucky took set 1 and set 2. Lady Vols trying to extend this night here at home. They add another point. Sedona Hansen, 5'8" senior out of Wrightwood, California, serving for Tennessee. Tough serve. Kentucky struggling to handle it. Hansen to the freshman Morgan Fingal.
And Sedona Hansen doing a nice job in that quick transition rally to get the ball back to Fingal. It was a perfect set. In that situation, a lot of times setters would just go to the quick attack in the middle, and it was a great decision to go back.
Fingal's 4th kill on the night for Tennessee. Nice dig from Hansen. Free ball for Kentucky. Where does Madison Lilly go? To the outside. A nice swing from Stumler. Tennessee handles it.
And a double contact called on Sedona Hansen. And he's been pretty consistent. Anytime the ball has been spinning sideways quite a bit, he's made that call.
Kentucky gets it back as Lauren Tharp steps back to serve, the 5'6" sophomore out of Louisville, Kentucky. Hansen pushes it outside. Big blocking for Kentucky, and what a great decision from Hansen.
And it felt like that was bound to come at some point because Kentucky has done a nice job of getting good block touches on a number of Tennessee swings. So Sedona Hansen electing to go over, definitely trying to make sure they take this third set.
Tennessee leads by 4. Stumler gets it back down the line.
And again, quite a bit of line left for Allie Stumler. Makes it a little bit easier for her to take this swing when she has that much real estate to hit.
Allie Stumler with 11 kills on 33 attempts for the Wildcats tonight. A big block up for Kentucky.
But a little late on the press were the Kentucky blockers. So Morgan Fingles going to get another kill.
And that'll send Madison Coulter back to the line to serve for Tennessee. A 19-15 lead in this third set. And Tennessee answering from the block front.
And Craig Skinner's going to call another timeout as he knows it's going to take another long run of points to try to come back in this.
Interesting is the beginning of the season, Allie Stumler and Avery Skinner were splitting time at that outside position. Coach said Stumler has just really done the little things in every single match, the defense and the kills from the back row and serving, all of the little things that she needed to do to be able to stay on the floor for them.
Lily Feltz with a nice drop tip. She looked like she was going to swing for a long time, very well disguised. Usually you see Kentucky players get a little bit closer, but that's how smart of a shot and how well Lily Feltz disguised that.
Well, the freshman Kaylee Keeble in to serve and set for Tennessee as they run a 6-2. A big block up, and Kentucky utilizes it, gets it back.
And Allie Stumler again out of the back row, making sure she doesn't swing low into the blockers, finding some space in between hands. She's doing a great job on that swing.
Allie Stumler leading the Wildcats in kills tonight with 13, hitting .211 in this match. Nice hustle from Asha Phillips. What a get for Tennessee, and another nice pickup this time from Kaylee Keeble. But Tennessee is not able to keep it going. Point Kentucky.
Well, it started with a great block by freshman Ajani Teeler for Kentucky, and then we saw the nice hustle play on the Tennessee side by Phillips, and then the strong net play, Kendall Paris able to keep the ball on the Tennessee side.
Timeout for Tennessee as head coach Eve Rackham has a conversation with her freshman setter, Kaylee Keeble. Nice weapon for Tennessee is Lily Feltz, and we talked a lot about her coming in, how good she's been lately. 28 kills in the last 2 matches, hitting almost .250. Jenny, what have you seen from Feltz?
She has just seemed to be clutch. When the team needed to get a kill, they could find her, whether in the front row or the back row. Of course, she's continuing to be that passer that her team needs her to be. Even in the backcourt, she's talking to the freshman setter and trying to help her know certain situations and things that she can do. So just really doing a little bit of everything for Tennessee.
You saw it there, 10 kills, hitting .400 for the Lady Vols as they try to stretch this night here in Knoxville. Leading by 3 in this third set. Now on the other side for Kentucky, it's really been Allie Stumler in this third set. Number 17 for Kentucky, 5 kills from Stumler in this third set.
Those are 2 players for their teams that do a little bit of everything. They're the undersized 6 rotation outside hitter that has to steady the passing game for their team, has to transition hard and be able to hit out of the back row, not just in the front row. So 2 players that are really carrying a large workload.
to the freshman, and there's that vertical. Ajani Teeler with the kill.
And Teeler also brings a lot of energy to the court. So we've seen her get a great block touch, and she's working hard in transition, and then the fire. That extra fire really can add a lot to the court as well.
Kentucky on a 4-1 run in this third set. Make it 5-1 run, another point for the Wildcats.
And the great thing for Kentucky is they don't have to send every ball to Leah Edmond. They have a freshman that's come into this match that can get a kill. They can go to Allie Stumler in the back row, and she's getting kills. And those are the things that Kentucky knows they need to have, not just in conference play, but once NCAA tournament play comes around, it cannot just be the Leah Edmond show, because great teams can slow that down.
Yeah, a lot of weapons for head coach Craig Skinner, and a lot of weapons for their junior setter, Madison Lilly, who is at the service line for Kentucky right now. Push outside, that one does not clear the tape. Point Kentucky. We are tied up at 21. What has gone wrong for Tennessee the last few points?
Well, the Tennessee passes have been around the 3-meter line consistently in this stretch, so they're not really able to set the middle or even have the threat of setting the middle. That pass well beyond the 3-meter line. It's tough to live out of system, and then you see more unforced errors like that.
On a set that high, sometimes hard to handle even on the outside for a veteran player like Tessa Grubbs, the senior on the outside. Kentucky adds another point. That one's still off the net, but they are able to run in the middle, and that's Lily Feltz. You mentioned her, and she gets a kill and gets it back for Tennessee.
And Lily Feltz, knowing that she's got to be a player that steps up when her number's called. Of course, she is the player being targeted in serve receive, so she's not going to pass a perfect ball. She can take care of it on the offensive end.
And she can take care of it at the service line, too. Ace for Feltz. She had 5 aces in the last 2 matches coming in, certainly getting it done. Coach said best serve receiver, best server for them right now. Really needed that point big time. Tennessee now leading this third set 23-22. As they try to push this best of 5. Tight pass for Kentucky. Leah Edmond handles it.
The one-handed set by Madison Lilly was very impressive. The ball was pretty tight, so she had to go up and get it with her one hand extended before the block touched it, because then it would have been a back row block.
Kentucky will keep that point. We're tied at 23 in this third set as Leah Edmond serves for the Wildcats. Tennessee gets it back. Big swing from Ava Bell.
And a great job by Bell to swing off of the hands of the block. That set was a little bit tight and pushed a little wide, so smart swing.
Bell now back to serve. Transfer from North Carolina sends that one into the net, and it is now tied at 24. Don't forget, you have to win by 2. So we play to 25, but you do have to win by 2. So Kentucky looks to wrap up this match. Tennessee won't let it happen yet. Danielle Mahaffey, powerful tip.
Tennessee, because they double sub with their setters and opposites, and they also take Mahaffey out in the back row, looks like they are out of subs at this point. So we're going to see freshman Kaylee Keeble stay in. Tessa Grubbs will be in the back row. She goes back to serve. She hasn't served in this match yet.
Well, and here's something to point out. You've got your freshman setter Kaylee Keeble on the front row. She's 5'8". So you have a 5'8" block now on the right side.
That's a generous 5'8".
What are you saying?
And again, Tessa Grubbs, who hasn't served since warm-ups, is going back there trying to hit a nice aggressive serve, but sends it well long.
Tied at 25. As Tennessee tries to keep this going. Kentucky's Lauren Tharp, a sophomore out of Louisville, Kentucky, back to serve for the Wildcats. Oh, Tennessee gets it back big time. Addison Rowe.
How about the connection from Kaylee Keeble to her middle, Addison Rowe, the quick attack. She did a great job of firing that set in there so that Rowe could hit it before the blockers could get fully pressed over.
Set point number 3 for Tennessee. Lily to the outside, straight to Stumler, and that smaller block for Tennessee.
And a great decision to go to the outside, knowing there's a smaller blocker over on the right. The set was maybe a touch tight, but Allie Stumler just takes a good high hand swing.
15th kill on the night for Allie Stumler. Tough serve from Stumler. To the outside, Lily Feltz finds a hole.
Heads up by Lily Feltz because she showed her tip pretty early, so the defender Lauren Tharp, she came crashing up to try to dig that tip, and when Feltz pushed it down the line, she couldn't make the play.
4th set point for the Lady Vols. Madison Coulter, junior libero, puts the ball in play. Again to the outside. Heavy swing from Leah Edmond.
And Leah Edmond had all sorts of room to make that big swing. Even Ava Bell is probably a little smaller on her block than some of the other Tennessee blockers.
20th tie in this set. Cameron Scheitzock back to serve. By the way, she served a 4-0 run in the 5th set of their match against Florida. So they're in a position they want to be from a serving standpoint for Kentucky, as it is now Wildcat set point.
And it brings up match point for Kentucky with the unforced error by Lily Feltz.
Swing from Feltz. Tennessee stays alive.
And a net violation by Kendall Paris. It was a great dig for Kentucky, but Lily Feltz is going to get a kill on that. Leah Edmond taking a big swing right at the hands of Ava Bell. Bell seems to be a little bit late on her press, so the Kentucky attackers taking advantage of that.
And it is match point again for Kentucky. To the middle, and Feltz. A nice up from the Wildcats. And a Johnny Dealer.
Off the bench, Ajani Teeler taking big swings. There was a great dig earlier in that rally. Kentucky, when their backs were against the wall in that set, all the momentum was on the Tennessee side, but Kentucky really stayed patient, and they just stayed with their plan, playing the way they wanted to play down this stretch, and were able to come up with the big 3-set sweep.
Ajani Teeler.